really know.
Live, as in alive.
Yeah.
In a mixed reality.
That's it. Oh, we got 2 viewers. Okay, so we are online. Please tell us what service you're watching us from, because we've just set up this this stream and we don't know where you're watching. So please, if you can, hopefully we can see you. And this is
activate chat. Please, do we have to activate the chat?
Please enable channels. Here we go. Okay, update all, add channel.
Yeah.
That should be fine. No, that's right. I think it's right.
Okay.
Hopefully we can see your chat. What? Oh, there we go. Okay, awesome. Anyway, we'll work that out later on. This is Lucy and Meow. Hello.
Yes.
So we were speaking with Nathan online, and he said that on Twitch, local content creators get promoted, and Lucy and I have wanted to do some live streaming stuff together for a while, so we decided we're going to give it a go, and we've just set everything up. It was a fucking nightmare. It took like an hour and a half, but we're finally online on something, which is good.
Had you not been here, it would have taken me an unimaginable amount of time.
Yeah, I think this is built on the back of like months of me trying to work it out. Streaming is a bit of a nightmare, but I think if we did this correctly, we're on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, which is really cool.
I felt like I was watching a hacker just now. I felt like I had, in the movies when they're showing, okay, I'm just going to hack into the mainframe. Like I saw that though in real time.
Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't have the console up there. You got to have the green typing. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I am a technology person. So I have like some implants in my hand, and I'm really interested in emerging technology. And one of the things I'm most interested in with Lucy is you spend a lot of time in China and you know a lot about China.
What a beautiful way to open and throw the conversation. So I'm Lucy. I am a musician, and I'm really interested in China, and I've lived there for a year, and I've just been studying Chinese and Chinese culture for a very long time. It really fascinates me. I think it's really different to Western culture. I think there's a lot we can also learn from it. So if you're interested as well, please let us know, ask questions, those sorts of things. I was about to say, my only implants are in my mouth. I've got some like leftover braces.
Cyborg, you're a tooth cyborg. Yeah.
Totally. And if I ever have maybe a replacement, then I can be a gold cyborg or veneers.
If anyone knows how chat works on Restream, please private message me on Facebook, because I actually don't know.
Nathan says you can see us.
Oh, awesome. Hey, Nathan. We started talking a little bit during the very beginnings of COVID, because at that time they thought COVID came from the wet market in Wuhan. Right. And you've been to some wet markets.
Totally. And I made a little video about it that you asked me, you inspired me to do, which is really cool, because I forget that it's not that only I know that and that other people don't know it. But before I went to China, if I'd heard wet market, I think I also would have had this idea that it was like this exotic, maybe animal market. But when I was living in Shanghai,
how many pangolins did you eat?
Yeah. Oh, just daily? Daily? Like 6, 7? Yeah.
Scale, picture 2? Yeah.
What part of the pangolin body?
Yeah.
So when I was living in Shanghai, I actually lived right next door to a wet market, which was really eye-opening because all it is a farmer's market. And
it sounds wet market. Sounds like they're hosing blood off the pavement, scraping the COVID off the walls.
Right, the COVID off the walls.
Yeah, that's it.
But it was really great. I actually went there every day. And it has Chinese sort of cities have real and sort of food culture have a real focus on freshness. 新鲜的菜. So the idea is if you go to farmers market but wet market, 农贸市场, basically you're getting really fresh food straight from the farm. So I would go there and I'd be so excited, because in Australia when you go to the markets like wherever, it's really fresh organic food, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's really premium price. Whereas the wet markets in China, like really fresh food, but really reasonable prices. And you'd buy like beautiful spinach, and I'd take it home, and there'd be snails.
Oh, really?
It was so real. Fresh. So that was just where you went to get your daily groceries. They don't have shopping markets. Yeah, they don't have shopping they don't have
Woolies.
groceries. They don't have that.
You know, in America they don't have Woolies either.
What do they have in America? They've got like more options, I think.
No.
What are they?
Like, I'm like, I just want to get a fucking, like, where would you buy a cucumber in San Francisco?
Oh man, I don't know.
Neither do I still don't know. So basically what they have is they have this fucking like, they have like convenience stores which kind of sell some produce, which is from Napa Valley down south from San Francisco.
Right.
But I was like, I just want to go like Woolies. They don't have it.
Right.
They have like organic whole food, which is expensive as you said.
Yeah.
But like you don't have a shop like Woolworths. There's like nothing. It's not like a supermarket. Right. Maybe in like the countryside or something, but I never went to one.
I feel like we need to ask an American. I don't know.
We need to get our fucking chat working so they can tell us. The other thing, Americans don't have fucking kettles to boil water.
What do they? How do they? They just use a fire. Open fire? No. What do they do? How do they go? So
I was like, what happens if you want to make a cup of tea? And they look at me like I murdered a baby.
Really?
You know why?
Why?
Tea's unfashionable in America.
Because we're a British colony,
well,
so we love the tea.
They were a British colony until they had the tea party where they chucked it overboard, and they still haven't gotten over it. So none of them drink fucking tea. So they don't have kettles. They have coffee machines in their house.
Oh, of course.
I'm like, what if they boil like
coffee
2 minute
on
noodles?
an IV drip in America.
That's it, pretty much.
And like Starbucks, yeah.
So if you want to boil water, you boil it on the stove. I'm like,
oh,
right?
Really?
It's crazy. But I didn't really meet anyone who did much cooking.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
I feel like you can live off like doggy bag leftovers that you get in restaurants in America. Like you have one meal, that's good for 3.
That's
you just
right.
take the rest home and you have it later.
And you can, and also the takeout's super cheap, right? Okay, I'm gonna see. Looks like we might be having connection issues. While we're having connection issues, I'm gonna see if I can get the chat working. To activate chat, please enable channels. Hold on. Restream. Enable channels here.
Oh, Nathan sent us a link on how to do the chat. You're amazing.
Engage viewers in a cross-platform chat. Could you please open this up?
Yeah.
We're going to do it live on... Okay, add channels, graphics, chat.
If I send you the link to your Facebook Messenger, can you open it on your computer?
I was going to say... yeah, we can open it here.
Yeah, because it's asking for a download.
Sorry to the 28 viewers. We are... Oh, here we go.
28.
Thank you. Restream chat. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with us while we iron out all of the little problems.
Cool. And I just got a notification on Facebook saying that you're live 7 minutes ago. So that makes sense.
Keep your streaming chats in one place. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's open it in browser.
Cool.
Chat.restream.io. Hold on. Okay.
Twitch is so much more complicated than I thought. I really thought it was a button and you go live.
Only. Connected. 3 from 3. Close. Restream. This was someone from Twitch.
Oh.
Hey, everyone.
Restream, yes.
Okay, so that's... Okay, so it doesn't post to Facebook at the moment.
Oh, let me check.
Read only. So I need to enable it somehow to be...
No, we're live. Well, sort of.
Okay, so we can't message or see the chats in here.
Oh.
Okay, what we'll do is today we're just going to keep the chats on the phone. So you're in charge of reading out.
Amazing. Okay, sorry. I haven't been able to see.
That's all right. We can chat with everything except Facebook, which is an achievement. Oh, no. Facebook is now read-only. I've missed the start of the conversation. So what are we chatting about?
Fucking anything and everything, whatever you want, Beth Lester.
So it's my sister. Okay, so it's a pre-recording restream. Pre-recording restream.
Okay. It's like coming together. So that looks like.
Yeah. So it's basically about 10 seconds behind. Hey. So for everyone who didn't come in, we're just having chats now. For those of you who don't know, I work with making COVID tests. I can't talk heaps and heaps about them, but basically I'm making a rapid point of care test. I'm very interested in the origins and what's happening with it. And obviously there's a huge focus on China. Now, personally, I am a big fan of China, and I think Australia should marry up more with China because we're a country in Asia. We're not like America in the Pacific. We are an Asian country. And I think that's like crazy that we bring in so much from America, but like almost nothing from China when China's heaps interesting and it's very close and we sell all our shit to them. So maybe we should be better friends with them.
Definitely. They're absolutely our neighbors. And there are so many Chinese people living in Australia. There's such a high percentage of our population is now Chinese. So really, we need to be better friends with China because China is already here.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I want to learn more. And I'm also super interested about the way that everyone's kind of dealt with COVID and how they've responded to this, right? So like, I think COVID definitely came out of China, but I think China dealt with the problem very well. Maybe not in the super early stages, but afterwards they were pretty good. And I think it's realistically any pandemic is going to be an international problem, and any virus that comes out is going to be an international problem. I think China was unlucky more than anything. I don't think that the same thing could have happened in America by someone visiting a cave or living in close proximity to animals. So I think this whole wet market thing, actually, they've said now is pretty much not a thing.
What do you mean not a thing?
They said it definitely didn't come from the wet market.
Right.
But they don't know where it came from, which was interesting. But every country is trying to pass the hot potato. Yeah. So France actually was we detected it in the sewage.
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay.
2 months before anyone else.
Right. Are we dropping hot theories as to where it came from?
Are we gonna, drop your if you drop your hot theories in the chat. I can't actually view the live stream.
Oh, okay. All right. So here we go.
Let's go, Joey. Anything exciting?
And can we have a look
Whole
at the
Foods
chat
and Costco.
Here?
Oh, yeah. So back to that. Whole Foods is not quite like Woolies because it's real fucking expensive, and they put asparagus in water and charge $8. So it's more like, what's the equivalent of an organic supermarket we have here?
Oh, Maloney's.
Yeah, or Harris Farms, something like that. But it's not like Woolies, right?
Yeah.
Costco's like bulk, right? But we have Costco too. They don't have Woolies though.
Why hasn't Costco been more successful in Australia?
One theory is
we have Woolies, maybe. That's why.
And this is also really interesting. Derek, one theory is that while COVID was in the community for a while, the market acted as a super spreader event. I don't think that this is true. And the reason for this is that we only see one point of origin, which means that if it was circulating, even for a week, we would have seen people overseas or in other places get it. And interestingly, when you want to see if a bioweapon was created by a country or not, which a lot of people think COVID was a bioweapon, one of the first ways that one of the first things we look for is how many points of origin are there. If there's more than 1 point of origin, guaranteed bioweapon.
Why? Right? Why does that have to be more than one?
Because the mutation will have happened and it will infect people from 1 point. If multiple points, say for example, it was like China, America, and Australia on the same day, engineered. Someone's dropped it in 3 separate locations. If there's no patient, 0.
Okay, right.
So far, we've narrowed it down to probably 1 point that it began, the origin. So we think that it's not a bioweapon. It wasn't engineered as such, we'll say. So if it was in the community, we've seen how quickly it spreads. All it takes is one security guard to boink someone and all of a sudden half of Victoria is infected. So we don't think it, I personally don't think that it was like circulating.
Yeah. Right.
But I could be wrong too. Maybe it circulated and then one person went to the market, all the rest of the people were fine, didn't pass it on to anyone, probably not. And then one person did. I say unlikely, but interesting theory, right?
Yeah. Tom Nash says, hypothesis meow, not theories.
Okay, so Tom
Conspiracies though, yes.
Conspiracy or conspiracy theories? Because both of those things are interesting. So Tom actually sent me a video, which was of one of the guys that, correct me if I'm wrong as well, was working in the COVID lab in Wuhan.
Right.
And they were working with modified versions of
I've heard about
coronaviruses.
That. They're researching them, right.
Now, the number one cause for coronaviruses entering the population before the pandemic, bat virologists.
Oh.
Because they go to the caves, they catch it, they come back to civilization and give it to everybody.
Okay.
Now, if you think, where's the bat virus going to come from? Well, a bat scientist is probably fucking highly likely. So I reckon I don't think it was deliberate, but I think it's very likely to have escaped. And also, America pulled funding for that lab.
Right, yes.
And Trump took away funding that Obama gave. So maybe America's actually kind of getting their comeuppance a little bit by if they kept on funding this lab, maybe we wouldn't have this problem. Or, maybe it needed to be enforced the restrictions more to make sure that the lab was, of a high enough containment. But if you've been in labs, mistakes get made.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Humans, I guess. One thing that was really interesting, because I'm following my friends who are living in China, some Chinese, some expats, was the initial Chinese response as well, when Corona was first happening over there. And just the lockdown was so interesting. So my friend was on holiday and then she came back to Shanghai and had her 2-week quarantine. And they put a machine on her door that would register whenever she opens her door, because they didn't want her to leave the house. Obviously, she's meant to be in quarantine. So she would go to take her rubbish out and put it in the bin. And she'd open the door, and then 5 minutes later, the police would be there going, "Why did you leave your place?" It's impressive how seriously they took it. And they had so WeChat is the main sort of messaging. Oh, is that the stream okay?
The stream's okay.
WeChat's the main messaging app that's used over there.
But it's not just messaging WeChat, right?
Oh yeah, you can use it. You use it for a coffee, anything at all. You can like scan an Ofo bike with it. Like WeChat is just an amazing.
It's like your portal to the internet.
Your portal, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's one portal. Totally. So another thing they did is that so doctors. So when I wanted to see a doctor or make an appointment with someone in China, I would just send them a message on WeChat. It's like, and they directly can just talk to the person or ask them about their service, and they'll message you, and then it's really fast. Yeah, so you just text. It's like texting your doctor and be like, "Can I see you on Thursday?" Yeah, totally. And then they'll be like, "Oh, see you then." But in this case, in the quarantine, the sort of doctors and nurses would text her and say, "Can you send us a photo?" So, and that's super efficient over there. So people drop off the food and you pick it up. It was honestly such an impressive quarantine. So China had it handled back in March.
Yeah, I believe that the virus exists. Dean is going to share soon. Please let us know, and we'll put it forward. By the way, Lucy and I are going to do this every week, so we've been really excited to do Twitch stuff for a little bit. We've been a bit busy. We're going to try every Tuesday, sometime between 7 and 8. We're going to try and jump on in just an hour, do a bit of variety stuff. I don't know, like talk about something. If you have any suggestions of what you'd like to see, send it through. We're going to try and focus on China, Australia stuff, because it's like kind of fun for us, good dialogue, hopefully.
Totally, but we can talk about anything. I have lots of science questions for Meow. We can anything at all, whatever you guys find interesting.
Lucy, Angela says that she heard a theory that the Chinese government made it to kill their older population due to their one-child per family policy they had for over a decade.
So, so now the one, you may know this, but the one-child policy has since gone.
How many kids can you have?
So now you can have, I believe, as many as you like.
I'm just going to have like 5 just to make up for the lost time.
But that's because the older population, they started to become like really big older population, so they wanted to change that. But not in the way that they wanted to kill everybody. Actually, in China, they have a real, I wish that we had this in Western society. They have a real respect for older people. And in the community that I lived in, what's it called? A compound, I guess. It was filled with old people, and they live such a beautiful, rich life.
It's called a retirement village. A compound filled with old people. We have that here. But it's not a rich life. It's like waiting to die.
But they
what makes it rich? What's different than Australia?
Yeah. So basically, I found that the young people were really respectful towards the old people. But they would every day.
Yeah, you know why? They killed all the fucking landlords, and all the kids have houses.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, China killed all the fucking landlords. Mao was like, fuck landlords, and he went and killed them all, and their country's like fucking prosperous, right?
I don't know.
Do you own your house? Do you own a house?
I don't know about. No,
I don't own a house.
No.
I'm like excited for COVID to not kill people, free up the property market.
Oh, in Australia.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. I want to free up the property market a little bit. COVID can do it. There's a few things that can do it.
Yeah. But as I was saying, old people, so in general, they basically live their days like experiencing all the recreation they want. They have dance classes like on the street every night, so everyone's dancing. They play poker,
they like
chess
busk,
all day.
put a little hat out the front. All the old people can generate the money.
Oh, well, there's no money, but they do put a little speaker, and they love shuffling.
What?
Yeah, so there's all these old people shuffling. It's
No
fantastic.
way.
So actually,
Amazing.
I really thought like we could use that in Australia as well.
Yeah, we could.
Like everyone dancing on the street every evening, which is something I thought was just like limited to, I don't know, like Latin countries. I was like, oh, dancing on the street at midnight, but no China.
Midnight shuffle. Get out there with grandma. Okay. So do you still think it came from an animal? Is it really the same virus animals get? So I think that the SARS, the coronavirus, probably incubated inside a bat. The version that hit humans, I think it was actually Tom shared a link with me, which I'll if someone reminds me, I'll post it in this stream at the end. It talked a little bit about, they were looking at different mutations. So one of the things, this is really interesting, right? Researchers can basically research whatever they want, but there's some stuff which is like taboo.
Oh, okay.
So, and China doesn't follow it because they're culturally different than us, which is really interesting. So is there a genetic element to intelligence? If you get certain genes, are you more likely to be intelligent?
What do you think?
we don't really know because we don't research it.
And I mean, but there's also the idea of like different types of intelligence, emotional intelligence, you know,
it's
like
a good argument for why we shouldn't research it.
Intelligence. Why shouldn't we research it?
Because if we find genes that are associated with it, we might encourage people like Hitler to go and purge the people that don't have that, or selectively breed, or maybe you get a genetic test before you go to a job and they say, sorry, Lucy, you can't work in this firm because you don't have a certain gene variant.
Right.
So if we just don't look, then we don't know. So we don't want to encourage eugenics. The other thing is looking at the science of race, right? We don't want to know certain things, so we don't go looking, because the majority of the population probably don't have the scientific understanding to be able to place this information properly. For example, 99. If you took 1,000 people, maybe there might be a slight skewing in different directions on different traits, but maybe not. Maybe you might have to take 100,000 people, and even though the differences might be there, it's not enough to be able to make day-to-day decisions with. So we don't go looking because of the way that it can be used badly. Now, one of the things that has been a heavy debate, for the past 15, 20 years. Gain of function. Gain.
Okay.
Gain, GOF, gain of function. Which,
but that's not how you spell gain.
So, Have you gotten, so you've gotten the flu before, right?
Yeah.
But have you gotten pandemic flu? Swine flu?
Any pandemic? Flu? No, none at all.
So, but like, what is the difference between normal flu and pandemic flu? Like, what genetic change makes something a pandemic? Because there's something, right?
Yeah,
that does it. Well, we don't know. We have to go looking, and the way that we go looking is we take regular flu, and then we try and give it the thing that makes it a pandemic. So
what's the thing?
Well, we do research to say, we change the way that it attacks, or we change how quickly it replicates, and things like this. But we don't know. The way we do it is by research, right?
Yeah.
But this research is called gain of function research.
Okay. Right.
It's controversial, though, because we're essentially manufacturing a pandemic virus that didn't exist before.
Okay.
We do that research, though, because when we understand it, we can prevent against it.
Okay.
But it's like, well, if we didn't create it, maybe the problem wouldn't exist. So a lot of people are like, well, maybe we shouldn't do gain of function research in case it escapes the lab.
Right.
Or maybe we shouldn't do it because we have to publish that information and terrorists could get a hold of it.
Right.
No one really knows what to do at the moment, so they just fucking do it and just publish it.
I had no idea there were all these sort of ethical sort of situations in science and... Yeah.
But as a scientist, you're actually not obliged to follow any ethics other than the ethics boards that exist at your university.
Right.
And publishing, there's no information that scientists aren't really allowed to publish. Even some of the dodgier, like human genetic stuff, it still gets published.
Right.
Even though it's like very ethically, ambiguous.
Ambiguous, totally.
Okay.
Back to le comment.
So is it the same one as virus animals get? Very close. Basically, we look at on our cells, the outside of cells, there's receptors, and those receptors let things in and out. If the animal has the same receptor as us, so mammals would have probably the same ones, like bats, like cows, probably going to be very, very similar. A pangolin is a mammal too, so it's going to have similar receptors. anything that's very close to us on the evolutionary tree is probably going to be able to exchange viruses that have some things in common. Now, the further away you are on the evolutionary tree, the less likely you get attacked by that thing. So you'll never get a plant virus by eating it.
Oh,
but
plant virus.
Yeah, but if you eat a monkey and the monkey has the flu, you can get the flu. But if you eat a cow and the cow has the flu, less likely.
Okay.
But some viruses are very clever, and those are things like influenza that can jump between pigs, placental mammals. What else? Humans, placental mammals, and birds, which are separated by heaps from us on the evolutionary tree. So that's really scary. This virus is, protein. It's able to like change and attack where it shouldn't be able to. And that's why the flu is so fucking scary.
Right.
But
is the ultimate, okay, let's say a virus is a person. It has its own personality, character.
Yeah. What's its name?
What is... I don't know.
Come on. This is how I judge whether I like it or not.
It's called the Introduction to Fungi.
John. It's called John Webster.
John Webster. What a guy. Yeah. He made the dictionary. He made, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, John Webster. So is the viruses... what does the virus want? Does it want to be able, does it want to be strong enough to kill a person, or does it want to be less strong that it just can jump from host to host and keep sort of replicating?
So we think about this is interesting as well. Virus doesn't want, in a sense, like we want, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So with evolution, it's directionless, but whatever, if it has a want, it's just to replicate.
Yeah.
The more basically it does kind of what we do. We're trying out a whole bunch of different stuff on a live stream. Whatever works is the seed for the next show, and then we keep on going like that.
Yeah.
So what it does is it tries out a whole bunch of stuff. Whatever causes it to replicate the most is what it ends up doing. So a lot of people are saying like it's going to be less deadly over time, because the less deadly it is, the less we try and stop it. Right?
Well, if the host dies, it dies, right?
Unless it's already passed on before the host dies.
Okay.
So like HIV is a good example. It kills the host, but it takes 10 years before it does it. So that's quite effective, right? It doesn't really become
like a happy virus, right?
It's
alive.
Could be worse.
No, like not for the person, but yeah.
Yeah, it's sitting in there. Also, our medication gets better. We have 10 years is a good time to be able to try and get a handle on it, right?
Yeah.
So that's not too bad. But the thing is, the virus, what about if it turns out that like it could survive in the host for 24 hours after the host died, but it took 5 years to kill someone? We might not know about it for a long time, and you might infect every mortuary worker and then also like all their families. So it might still be deadly. It might just have a longer incubation period or something like that. So it's not necessarily going to become less deadly. It's going to do whatever enables it to succeed.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, it goes extinct.
All right. So it wants to succeed. That's what it wants. That's
it. As long as John is going to get, be able to make more Johns, he's going to do whatever it takes. Now, what's interesting is you can actually check out, there's certain traits that go along with things like viruses and bacteria, which is how quickly do they mutate. So the faster they mutate, the more they change their program, right?
Right.
Now, sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad, because if you change it too much, you don't do what made you successful enough to get going in the first place. But if you don't change it quickly enough, you can't adapt to change.
Yeah.
So what it's doing is
putting all of its points into adaptation.
Adaptation. That's right. So basically, you got to think about it's going to try and balance everything, so it's got just the right amount of adaptation. Yeah. And the most successful viruses will be the one that gets that number just right.
Okay.
Yeah. Tweaks all the parameters: adaptation, spreadability, incubation period. One of the things that made it most successful is it doesn't have symptoms while it's starting. So it suppresses the immune system for the first 4 days, which means everyone goes, you sing me a song. What is it? The Pokemon. I will travel across the land.
Searching far and wide.
Spreading coronavirus. I don't know. Basically, it's fucking, if you can work out what makes everyone want to go fucking travel when they get the coronavirus and sell that to Tourism Australia, you'll make a fortune. Because everyone just goes, you see the list of places. The other weekend I went to the fish shop and I ended up going to like 3 separate fish shops to buy something, and I'm like, this is the weekend I get coronavirus.
Oh.
Because you see the list go. It's like 2 separate churches in one day. Fucking 3 Costco's. And you're like, man.
Costco's. Let's just go pause here. Guys, how's our sound and is our frame rate really choppy? Can you just give us some quick...
Lab-leak hypothesis. Unlikely that it was deliberate due to how clumsy it was have been deployed, but something they were fucking with. Yeah. I say hypothesis obvious because that's not fused with evolution or gravity. Bam. Yeah, I agree. I think it was definitely clumsy. And like I've been in labs and even PC3 and PC4 labs, where they actually work on these types of viruses. Nothing's ever perfect. Steve, the janitor, stuck his mop in the door so that he could clean more easily.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he knocks over something like in Resident Evil, the movie, and the virus is out. Doesn't matter how good your quality is. That's how it goes down. And it got spread everywhere when everyone left China after China's New Year celebrations. That definitely was a bit of a perfect storm. There was, we knew about coronavirus and we're still letting people in from Wuhan during February last year, this time last year, which was interesting strategy. I would, if I was going to do it right now, I made a comment the other day, we should set up all of our refugee clinics to be quarantine stations, but I've revised.
Oh, you revised.
Yeah.
What's
Tasmania.
Tasmania. You don't like Tasmania?
I love Tasmania, but it's very conveniently
an island.
A small island. And it's like we got Christmas Island, not quite big enough, Lord Howe Island, too pretty. Tasmania's perfect. Just put all the fucking quarantine passengers there, leave them there for 2 weeks, fly them to the mainland once they've cleared quarantine. Mm-hmm. Or we take over the South Island of New Zealand.
We just take over. That's it.
There we go.
Answered. Done.
That's
okay,
it.
Next.
A restaurant owner told me there was a worldwide plan to reduce the population. Thought it seemed silly, however, as they didn't give extra support to the disabled or elderly. Yeah, so if you're going to reduce the population, you'd use SARS-CoV-1, the first SARS, right? Because that was 30% fucking fatality. 1%, that's not going to wipe out the population.
Right.
If you're going to wipe it out, you make it a little bit more deadly. Really,
yeah.
And it's kind of this has come about again as well. It's like a scatter gun. If I was going to make a weapon to take a country out, I would make it specific for that country. COVID kind of just kills everyone randomly.
Right.
If I was going to make it fucking anti-China bioweapon, I'd make it attack rice. If I was going to make an anti-American fucking bioweapon, make it attack corn. Right?
Okay.
Something that actually cripples the fucking country and not yourself. If it was America launching a bioweapon, well, they fucked themselves over. If it was China, they also fucked themselves over, right? It's crippled the worldwide economy. It's kind of killed a few people, but not tons. It's done a really shit job at everything other than making everything more annoying and difficult. But it didn't really do anything, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't very effective.
Very chaotic, I think.
I understand it's gone now.
Beck, were you talking about they fly their kites in the parks? Are you talking about the elderly in China? Honestly, I really they just it's such a they do tai chi, it's just so meditative and beautiful, and it's all about health. And they do the qigong. So everything's focused on health, is slowly and appreciatively enjoying your years. So I think
and they've got a very different approach to healthcare as well, don't they? Because they're always very holistic. They don't look at symptoms they look at symptoms. They don't reductionist, we call it in the West, where we go okay, this bacteria is the cause of all your problems. They say your system's unbalanced. Right?
Yes. Exactly.
I'll quickly head to the first bacteria. Parasites have existed as long as the industry has existed. So as long as there's been bacteria, there's been viruses. Viruses might even date bacteria as weak. As long as there was genetic information around, there was probably viruses. As long as there's been a real estate industry, there's been real estate agents. As long as the industry exists, the parasite exists.
All right, let's move on.
Bioweapons.
Bioweapons.
Agreed. We all agreed that COVID's an accident, but I reckon probably made.
Let's talk about old people.
Sound and frame rate is definitely choppy right now. Oh, I'm so sorry. Guys, we're actually streaming from my mobile phone because NBN has not been connected at my house. Go figure. Soon. I don't have copper either. So this house is brand new. No copper. Only NBN. But then they ran out of silicon to build the fucking modems to put in the exchange.
Right.
Yeah, nonsense. Anyway, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, okay, let's talk about let's just explore a new topic, just briefly, just for variety, because this is a variety hour.
And also, I made a little sign, so this is if we need to explain this meow.
Yeah. We're talking about old people.
Yeah.
Do you? My first thought was, do you expect to reach old age? But do you expect to?
Why are we all fuzzy all of a sudden? Are we gonna? We're like out of focus.
We did tag this stream as being mixed reality.
It's definitely
just randomly. That could be part. The reality could be blurring. We could be blurring your reality.
I'll see if it also goes here. Oh, we'll see. Okay. Do you expect to reach old age?
We're back. Okay, but my thought was going to be, obviously, as an old person, I want to be like a Chinese person. I want to be sort of looking after my health, because already my body will have, declined a lot. So I want to, make the most of what I still have and enjoy my time. As an old person, what do you envision?
What age do you think? I need to qualify this a little bit more. What is old, and when will you die? Like, let's just.
Yes. I'm thinking, I don't know, I assumed 80s or 90s.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When do you start getting old?
Oh, okay.
If you say 36, I will be very upset.
37. No. No. Look, I actually think that, my new sort of measurement of, like, are people old, like, is whether they've reached a point in their life where they just sort of want to settle a bit. They don't want to like achieve so much. Although, it depends on the person.
You're achieved flying kites in the park though, so clearly you've got.
It's a different level, I think, of enjoying life. Yeah.
Just fly a kite is enough.
Slow. Well, no, there could definitely be more to it. But you know how you see some people, they're entrepreneurs in their old age.
Yeah.
They're
old?
And I'm okay. I was thinking maybe 70s is old, but
yeah, maybe 70s is old, right?
Because I've seen people like in their 50s, launch their careers in art and whatever. So
we're gonna retire in Australia until fucking 70 now.
Yeah, so we have to pretend old age is much better.
I'm like, what age am I gonna live to?
Would you like me to guess right now?
Yeah. When do you think I'm gonna?
Let me just a Ouija board.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever number comes out.
Whatever number comes out. Okay.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah. What number?
I'm tuning in.
Yeah.
Oh. 165.
Close. That's good. So much older.
Damn, you're gonna make it to 165.
I'm gonna make it to the fucking heat death of the universe. I'm not gonna die.
The heat death of the universe. Yeah. I love that.
So one of my friends over in America started a company called BioViva. And she does life extension gene therapy. Yeah, BioLife, right?
To do with telomeres?
Telomeres, yeah. So telomeres, basically this biological clock that tell you. Oh, is that how you know of them? They're like.
Yeah, I understand, and I understand that you can extend telomeres, but that also increases chances of cancer. Is that right?
Does it? That's the question.
Does it?
So cancer's actually one of the hallmarks of cancer is immortality. So cancerous cells live forever.
Do they live forever?
Yeah.
So wait, okay, we've been cremated, or we're in the ground.
No. As in, they have no life expectancy.
Okay.
So one of the things we do when we're studying human cells in the lab is we immortalize them. So we generally use cancers, but you need 4 of the 12 hallmarks of cancer to be cancerous. If you just have one, it's not cancer.
Right.
And it's one. Now, when we've looked at mice that have had this gene therapy to extend their telomeres, because it's switched on in you until you're 25, then it naturally switches off and you start aging.
Okay.
If we just switch that back on, maybe it doesn't give you cancer. Maybe it's just one of the hallmarks, because cancerous cells have some attributes we want, which is living forever. But when you start uncontrolled division, you start recruiting new blood supply, you start utilizing different forms of energy and all this stuff, then you're cancer. Just living forever is not cancer.
Okay.
But it is a concern. So maybe where someone said, can we talk about vaccines? Okay. So what do you think about, this is going to tie into how long. So I'm going to live forever by using an aging vaccine.
Cool. What will the aging vaccine do exactly?
So tell me what you know about the COVID vaccine that's coming out at the moment, and we'll go from there.
Not a lot. Not a lot. I looked at what group I'd be in when I get the vaccine.
Yeah. What group are you?
2, I think.
Really? I'm 3, I think.
Oh, okay. What do we know about it? It's going to make us immune for a short period.
Maybe, yeah. So as the virus mutates.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily like you're good for life.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a theory that you won't be able to travel without, documentation that you have it and that sort of thing in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my thoughts.
Now let's think about how it actually works at the molecular level. So generally, tune in. Okay. Any questions? Drop them in the chat, either on Facebook or Twitch. I think Facebook's our main. Hold on, I'm just gonna look. Oh, holy shit! We got a whole heap of chats. This is working here, which is all on the. I'll try and next time be able to. Oh, China only killed almost all landlords. Oh. Thank you for that. It was very helpful. We'll try and keep an eye on all the chats next time. At the moment, we're mainly keeping an eye on the Facebook chat. So, vaccine. Okay. Generally, what we do is we have. In fact, this is gonna be great. Is there a tissue?
Yeah. Tissue.
There you go. Okay. So we're gonna bust out the whiteboard for this.
Love it.
Okay. So let's have a look. We have the virus.
Okay.
Okay. So that's called
the sloth
envelope.
Oh.
That's called the envelope.
Okay. There's a sloth
And then in here we have the capsid, and then in here we have the RNA, and then on the outside we have some little proteins that enable the cell to take it up.
Cool.
So this is basically a key, and the cell has the lock.
Where's the lock?
It's on the surface of the cells. A little bit like this. Matches. It goes because this mimics something which is like and then everything that needs that. It's like, oh sweet, come in because I need you. Just kidding, I'm a fucking virus. And then quite the right shape to fit in here. Right?
Yeah.
There's all the genes, all they do is make all the rest of the bits of the virus. That's it.
Right.
The body makes must be 5G. Oh, we're back online. Anyway, so basically, it booted us off. We need to get better internet. If it's a sponsor, better internet, we'll have a link next time.
Better.
Maybe we'll stream if this been
from your living room.
This has been pretty successful. Maybe we'll try and hook. We're talking about getting a studio for next time. So basically, what do we know about the vaccine? Basically, it's a form of gene therapy because you're getting the body to using our body's machinery. So basically, we take part of the. So what we can just so I always say it wrong. Telomeres. We could also say like I want to make hyaluronic acid and make my I want to make collagen for my hair, pheromelanin. Or we could
peroxide in our body already?
Tons of it. Wow. In fact, it's free radical that gets generated all the time. Peroxide. So right now, your hair's getting anymore.
Yeah. Now.
That's it. Let's say, let's do it. We want to do variety, so we want to play some games or watch some videos together. Or play some Stardew Valley if that from us. And we'll see you again next Tuesday, sometime 7 and 8.